It's Radio Saorsa. There is no arguing the point. This was a tremendous election for Nicola Sturgeon and the Scottish National Party. With a 63.2% turnout, the highest recorded turnout in a Scottish parliamentary election, she won a whopping 64 seats and landed one seat short of a majority. Given the shape of politics in Scotland, the fact the unionists were voting tactically, something Sturgeon pleaded with independent supporters not to do, and given that she asked for both votes SNP, mathematically this was the best possible result she could have hoped for, and she got it. But more importantly, by seeking for a vote for the SNP in the regional list, she successfully kept another pro-independence party out of Holyrood and thwarted the threat of a supermajority for independence, something Sturgeon and the SNP do not want. In 2016, 0.9 million votes were wasted by independent supporters in the list for a mere 4 seats. This time that success was increased, with 1.1 million votes being wasted on just 2 more SNP MSPs. Understanding the electoral system and the handicap it imposes on parties which do well in the first-past-the-post constituency election, she duped independent supporters into believing a list vote would ensure that she would again be First Minister. It doesn't really matter that this was untrue. There is no such thing as the truth in politics. Facts are manufactured on the hoof to best meet the needs of politicians, and this is exactly what the SNP did. They conjured up their own facts. It was all about keeping Alex Salmond, a, quote, sex pest, out of Parliament, about keeping the regressives of the Alapa party out, about winning a majority the British government would respect. It was about false promises and faux facts. What was truth, demonstrably true, had nothing whatsoever to do with this election. Salmond was acquitted of all charges the leadership of the National Party had gone on a fishing trip to amass and pursued them against its own legal advice, charges that could have never stood up to legal scrutiny, but charges which were dirty enough for Sturgeon and her devotees to hold up saying, but just because he was found not guilty doesn't mean he didn't do it. Doubt is a powerful weapon against innocent people, something the British government has long understood. She fought a campaign against Alapa, denouncing the party and its supporters as transphobes and misogynists all. This didn't need to be true. Of course it didn't. It just needed to be picked up by supporters and the British government-aligned unionist media, a media Sturgeon funded to the tune of £3 million in taxpayers' money. Another winning tactic from the Conservative Party's playbook. Nicola knew what she was doing, and she did it so well. And everything she lost, like her majority, she could then blame on Alapa and its supporters for dividing the pro-independence vote. Nicola Sturgeon got everything she wanted from this election, a near majority that would both keep her in power and absolve her of pushing for independence. Mercilessly attacking the enemy, cut its throat when it was on the ground, and blame it for trying to hit back. The most beloved tactic of the British state. So congratulations are in order. Well done to the SNP. But what Sturgeon has failed to see is that this was, at least in one sense, a massive victory for Alapa, or more precisely for the idea that gave rise to Alapa, the idea of the supermajority. This is why her assault on Alapa was so vicious, so unprincipled, so vindictive. This is why she attacked the ISP and AFI before Alapa, because all these parties ever needed to achieve was that the power of the pro-independence supermajority could be demonstrated. And it was. Once again, the SNP got to just where it had been. Once again, the SNP list votes returned unionists. And once again, the SNP could play the game of appearing to be working for independence while all the while knowing it couldn't and wouldn't happen. But this game isn't possible anymore, because we have demonstrated to the Scottish electorate that by behaving like any other political party in a democracy, by exploiting the system, by tactically voting, we can achieve a supermajority which would at once obliterate the politics of unionism in our parliament and put a political reality to the Westminster government it cannot possibly ignore. By actively destroying this possibility, this clear and demonstrated route to independence, think Ireland 1919, Sturgeon has effectively signed the death warrant of her party. She has 5 years to come good on her promise of independence, something she knows perfectly well she cannot deliver given the arithmetic that she has created, until her route is exposed entirely as a fraud. So, as I have said, congratulations to Miss Sturgeon. She has inadvertently set Scotland back on course to independence by demonstrating that her way does not and cannot work. And this, of course, makes my job, makes our jobs a great deal easier. All we have to do is bide our time. Remind her at every step that she has promised us independence, and keep feeding her the rope she needs to hang her party. Thanks for listening, and as always, please remember to like and subscribe, and remember too to hit the bell button. It will notify you every time Radio Saorsa posts new content. See you next time.